Hello, and welcome to the 11th episode of The M-Wire. Today we're going to be discussing The Punisher in our Marvel Spotlight. I am DFG1 Mike, and as usual, I am joined by Steve Megatron. Hello.
Hello, and you are entering the Steve Light Zone.
No, that would be the Steve Twilight Zone.
No, it's the Steve Light Zone.
Twilight.
In a world where Steve controls everything you see.
God, I don't live there.
Yes, the land of bums and hookers.
Oh, that's funny as hell. So, how are you?
Pretty decent.
Yes, we just got done recording Headshot 12.
Yes, or Nutshot.
Crotch shot, douche shot, I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
Ass shot.
So go over there for all the updates as far as the stuff. Today we are going to be discussing The Punisher, as I said. I really enjoyed this one. It was really, really cool. I thought it was a good movie. So we will be right back with the show topic, which, as I said again, is The Punisher.
Can't believe I'm home. I could ever be so lucky.
We're not lucky. We are blessed.
All right, everybody, quiet down. This is the first family reunion we've had in 5 years. To the future!
The future. The future was something my family would never see. They thought they murdered me. They were wrong. They were dead wrong.
That man must die. Quit!
Don't let your memories kill you.
They can't kill me. I'm already dead.
Thomas Jane, John Travolta.
Make Castle dead. Whatever it takes. Whatever it costs.
This is not revenge. It's punishment.
Alright, it is time for today's show topic, which is The Punisher. It is a 2004 comic book action film based on the Marvel Comics character with the same name. Starring Thomas Jane as the anti-hero Frank Castle / The Punisher, and John Travolta as the villain Howard Saint. What the hell was that?
What?
I don't know. I heard a like a microphone echo or something. Like something was, I don't know. Who orders the death of Castle's entire family? The film is not a sequel to 1989's The Punisher. It is a reboot. The story and plot were mainly based on two Punisher comic book stories: The Punisher Year One and Welcome Back Frank, along with scenes from other Punisher stories such as Marvel Preview featuring The Punisher Number 2, The Punisher War Zone, and The Punisher War Journal. The film was released on April 16, 2004 by Lionsgate Entertainment, grossing $13,834,527. In the U.S., over its opening weekend, The Punisher received mainly negative reviews from film critics. A DVD release followed on September 7, 2004, with 10.8 million in copies sold. Well, even though it received negative reviews, at least the DVD sales were good.
Yeah, that's good.
The Punisher was shot on location in Tampa in mid to late 2003. It is distributed by Lionsgate Entertainment in North America, although Artisan Entertainment, which produced 1989's The Punisher, financed and co-distributed the film with Lionsgate. Columbia Pictures distributed the film in non-North American countries. Director Jonathan Hensleigh agreed to helm the film during its development stage, despite a dispute with Marvel Studios. The Punisher was rated R by the MPAA for pervasive, brutal violence, language, and brief nudity, making it one of the few Marvel films to receive an R rating. The success of the DVD sales of the film prompted Marvel Comics and Lionsgate to start development on a sequel titled The Punisher 2, which instead became the reboot titled Punisher War Zone after Jane and Hensleigh left the project due to creative differences. One thing that really surprised me about the 2004 Punisher was the fact that John Travolta was the villain. I'm trying to remember back then what films Travolta was in around that time, and it was like a real shock to me to see him in this.
Yeah, he usually doesn't play a part like that, though.
Well, he plays a villain. He plays a very, a very vicious villain, actually. Having someone's entire family killed just because his wife tells him to. But I don't know. At the time, I was really, really surprised that to see him in a Marvel movie. Of course, 2 years before this was released, we had Spider-Man. 2 years before that, we had X-Men. And then, we had Spider-Man 2 in 2004 as well. But it was just really, really surprising. So getting into the plot here, Bobby Saint and Mickey Duca meet with their contact Otto Krieg during an arms deal in Tampa. But the FBI intervenes and Bobby and Otto are supposedly killed and Mickey is taken to prison. It is revealed that Otto Krieg was an FBI agent and ex-Delta Force soldier named Frank Castle, who was shot by an agent using Plank. Shortly thereafter, Frank celebrates a retirement party with his friends and heads home. Bobby Saint is revealed to be the son of the powerful mob boss Howard Saint, who is enraged by the death of his son and attempts to kill Mickey. Instead, Howard and his associate, Quentin Glass, bribe the FBI for the confidential information about Otto Krieg and find his true identity. At Bobby's funeral, Howard learns Frank is at a family reunion in Puerto Rico and will be heading for London soon. Howard and his wife Livia decide to murder Frank and his entire family as well. Just the beginning to this, first of all, the title sequence is really awesome. You know how normally Marvel does, like with Fantastic Four, they did like their Marvel logo, but instead of going red like in Spider-Man, it goes blue. This, they went all black. So it's the Marvel logo, it fades to black, and then bullet holes, like bullets penetrate the logo, and it was really, really cool. The beginning scenes, it really sets up how famous this guy and his family are. They're shaking hands at his club. All these people wanting to get into his dance club and stuff like that, and I thought that was really, really cool. As far as the scenes with Frank and everything else, at first I thought he was dead too. I was like, oh, what? How could they kill him so early? Which was really, really cool. And we should mention that you have not seen this, so you probably aren't going to have that many thoughts on it.
No, not very many, but I'm reading and listening as I go.
Oh, okay. At the reunion, Howard's cronies, Quentin Glass and John Saint, among them, kill most of Frank's family. Frank and his father manage to kill several men. Meanwhile, Frank's wife and son try to escape in a Jeep, but they are run over with a truck. Frank is shot 3 times, but survives and is nursed back to health by a local man named Candelaria. Frank seeks refuge in the old tenement building where 3 young outcasts, Dave, Bumpo, and Joan, live. He starts his own mission of revenge after learning that the police and the FBI have no intention of pursuing the men responsible for his family's death. In the process, Frank sabotages Saint's money laundering business and severs Saint's partnership with the Cuban mobsters, the Toro brothers, and starts tailing Livia and Quentin, learning that Quentin is in fact a homosexual with information from Mickey. Howard realizes that Frank is alive and sends 2 assassins to kill him. First is Harry Heck, who after a brief car chase is killed when Frank shoots a ballistic knife into Heck's throat. The second is the Russian, a behemoth who has boiling water thrown in his face, which blinds him long enough for Frank to throw him down the staircase. His head. Moments later, Saint's men arrive, led by Quentin and John. Dave, Joan, and Bumpo hide Frank and refuse to tell Quentin where he is. Despite Quentin sadistically pulling Dave's piercings out with a pair of pliers, they leave the man behind to kill Frank when he gets back. Frank leaves the elevator and chops the top of a man's head open with a paper cutter. That night, Frank prepares himself for battle and manipulates Howard into believing that Quentin and Livia were having an affair by planting one of Livia's earrings on Quentin's bed. Howard, unaware that Quentin is a homosexual and believing Livia to be capable of cheating on him, kills them both. I kind of went on that just because the plot for this movie is really cool, I think. The way that it's set up. In the reunion scene in the beginning, like right after Howard Saint finds out about his son dying, when they show the reunion in Puerto Rico. First of all, I had no idea that, what's his name? Roy Schneider was in this. I had no idea, and I kept, because Roy Schneider plays Frank's father, I kept looking at him, I'm like, wait. That's Captain Bridger from Sequest DSV. And that's where I knew him from, was on the show Sequest DSV, but I had no idea. And as I was watching it, I'm like, oh, wow, cool. And, of course, getting to the whole meeting Joan, Bumpo, and Dave, those scenes are pretty funny. Kevin Nash plays the Russian, which that's why the Russian is such a behemoth, because it's Kevin Nash, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
I mean, you put a Super Shredder suit on him and you've got Super Shredder.
Nice.
Yeah. I really, really enjoyed this movie. I don't know why it got such bad reviews. So Frank then attacks Saint's club, where he wages a one-man war on Saint's entire crew, killing everyone inside, including John. Howard attempts to escape, but Frank catches up with him and shoots him in the stomach. As he writhes in agony, Frank reveals that Quentin and Livia were not having an affair, and he ties Howard to a car, which goes into a bomb-laden car park, blowing up countless cars and lighting Howard on fire. The destruction and wreckage culminates in the shape of Frank's iconic skull. He leaves and lets Howard burn to death. After his revenge is taken, Frank prepares to kill himself. However, he remembers his wife and decides he will continue his vigilante mission against others who deserve punishment. Before departing on his next mission, he leaves some of Howard's money for Bumpo, Joan, and Dave. In the final scene on the Sunshine Skyway Bridge, Frank delivers a short monologue. Those who do evil to others, the killers, the rapists, the psychos, the sadists, will come to know me well. Frank Castle is dead. Call me the Punisher. Which I thought that was a really, really cool way to end the film. The whole rapist, psychos, sadists, just the way he says that made me think of Edie McClurg in Ferris Bueller, when she's going, oh, everybody likes him, the wastoids, the dweebies, just that whole, it just made me think of when she did that. That was just so funny. Overall, I think for this film, the casting was spot on. You've got Thomas Jane, which I've never heard of him before, as Frank Castle. John Travolta as Howard Saint. Will Patton, it's Quentin Glass. Will Patton's been in a bunch of stuff. You have Rebecca Romaine, who this is actually our fourth film with her in it. Actually, fourth film in a row. We did X-Men, all three X-Men films last week.
Yep.
You have Ben Foster as Spacker Dave, John Pinette as Bumpo, Samantha Mathis as Maria Elizabeth Castle, Marcus Johns as his son Will Castle, Russell Andrews as Agent James Weeks, and a whole bunch of other people. The only one that I really recognize, Kevin Nash, Mark Hawley, Roy Schneider, who Kevin Nash and Mark Hawley played the assassins, and then Roy Schneider played his father. Just overall a great cast for the film, I thought. What'd you think so far, just from reading and listening?
Well, honestly, I think I might have to actually pick this up and watch it as soon as I get time. Because I think my mom has some of these that I don't have out of the Marvel ones. So I think I'm going to have to pick this one up and borrow it from her.
Cool. Before we get into any of the other information, I should say that there are two cuts to this film. There's the original theatrical cut, And then there's the extended cut, which I had the original theatrical one, but I sold it because I like the extended cut better. The only difference is they flush out the story of, because when Frank first comes back, he doesn't want anything from the police or the FBI. He just wants who gave him up to Howard Saint. And they flesh it out in this with an animatic in the beginning of him in Kuwait. It's basically just an animated scene. Then the film starts as the regular one does, and they work in that Jimmy Weeks was the one to betray him, his best friend, and it fleshes out that whole story in this extended cut. The special features on here, they're the Punisher comic book gallery. This feature will allow viewers to click through a gallery of select past and present Marvel comic book covers featuring the Punisher. A treasure trove for the Punisher comic book fans. This is the ultimate compendium to anyone's collection. It has a making of featurette and just the regular, 16:9 widescreen, which is something I was going to rant on in Headshot, but I forgot about it, and it's actually more appropriate here. I want to ask a question to our listeners. How is it that the aspect ratio and sound quality are special features? Those are technically specifications of the DVD quality or the film quality or whatever you want to call it. Those are not a special feature. A special feature is a making of, a commentary, the photo gallery thing, cast and crew credits or whatever. The fucking 16:9 widescreen and 5.1 Dolby Digital surround sound is not a special fucking feature.
No.
Director Jonathan Hensley and Avi Arad said in many interviews that Thomas Jane was the first and only actor to be asked to play the title role. Jane initially turned it down the role twice, as well as a part in the first X-Men movie and a few other comic book movies, as he did not see himself as a superhero actor. Jane said when asked the second time to play the Punisher that he became interested when Arad sent Tim Bradstreet's work of the Punisher. After learning more about the Punisher's character, he accepted. He read as many Punisher comics as he could to understand the character and became a fan of the Punisher. Jane trained for 6 or 7 months with the United States Navy SEALs and gained more than 20 pounds of muscle for the part. And I think that's really awesome. Again, I can't say how cool.
That's dedication there.
Yeah, I can't say how cool the casting for it is. It was really, really cool. As far as the release and the reception, prior to the Punisher's release, the novelization of the movie was written by D.A. Stern and released in March 2004. The Punisher opened in 2,659 theaters on April 16th, 2004, and grossed, which I've already said the gross stuff. I'm not going to repeat that. Actually, it did have a foreign gross of $20,889,916, giving a worldwide total of $54,700,105. I didn't say that. On its release, it was met with mainly negative reviews and received a 29% rotten rating on Rotten Tomatoes based on 160 reviews, with an average rating of 4.5 out of 10. With 25% approval rating from top critics and 62% from the RT community, film critic Roger Ebert gave the film 2 stars, stating that the Punisher is so grim and cheerless you wonder if its hero even gets satisfaction from his accomplishments. And someone from the Hollywood Reporter said, by the end, the Punisher's greatest adversaries emerge as an unwelcome trio known as a Jokey, Hokey, and Hammy. Few reviewers have defended the movie, stating that compared to most comic-based films, it is done well. It is a well-done throwback to the old-school action movies of the 1960s and 70s, which I kind of agree with that. This isn't your average action film, even though it is comic book. It's a good comic book action film. As far as the home media, I've already stated the special features on the extended cut. There was a standard edition, and it's also on Blu-ray. I'm trying to see. It doesn't say what what the special features are on the original cut. It does have a soundtrack. The Punisher, the album, was released in 2004 by Wind Up Records, and it's the official soundtrack for the movie The Punisher. Its lead singles were Broken by Seether and Evanescence frontwoman Amy Lee, Step Up by Downingpool, and Edgewater's Eyed Wired Shut, all of which have accompanying music videos. Just looking at this soundtrack list, because I actually have some of these songs, after Dave Williams, the lead singer of Drowning Pool, died in, I believe, 2001, 2002, I did not really care for Drowning Pool after that. The only songs I can listen to is the ones that he actually sung on.
Yeah, I pretty much like the original ones, too. I never really got into any of their music past him.
No, like Bodies
Yes, Bodies, and I Don't Care About Anyone.
Yeah.
I love that song just because of the how the song starts. I don't necessarily even if without the audio or the singing, it was a background song.
Yeah, very much so. The only other song on here that the one that's on here by Johnny Pool, Step Up, it's okay. It fits the film, when you see it, like when you watch a trailer for it. But it's not one that I listen to. The main song that I was surprised at with this, and unfortunately, as I said before, we had to move around these films. I originally wanted the Marvel films to. The way I plotted out the Marvel Spotlight was to do them by year, like X-Men, and the X-Men movies were 2000, 2003, blah, 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 Spider-Man, blah, 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 blah. Well, Daredevil was done before this, before The Punisher. It was done in 2003. And Nickelback had a song on that called Learn the Hard Way. They have a song on this called Slow Motion, which I absolutely love that song. Of course, everybody knows I'm a big Nickelback fan. And then, of course, you had the breakout hit Broken by Seether and Amy Lee, which got tiring after a while after hearing it so many times. The score to The Punisher was composed and conducted by Italian composer Carlo Ciliotto. I think I'm saying that right. Director Jonathan Hensley wanted the music to be very emotional and was aware of Ciliotto's previous work, which led to him being chosen. When scoring the film, Ciliotto saw Frank Castle as a tragic figure, stating, "This man, Frank Castle, is somebody who has a slaughtered family. He comes through that slaughter and becomes a Punisher, but he is a sad man. He drinks, and he has bad memories always coming to him." There's a lot in the film, and at times it makes a modern version of a classic tragedy like Othello. I really like the score to the film. I actually like... everybody will hear it in the outro for this episode. I actually compiled his declaration. Throughout the film, he lists three things as his declaration. The first one is in one scene, and then the other two are in one of the final scenes. And then I compiled the thing at the end where he's talking about the killers, the psychos, and all that stuff. The theme for when he's doing that, I thought was really, really cool. Let's see. It won a Taurus World Stunt Award, and it was nominated for a few Prism Awards. As we said before, there is a sequel. Despite the modest reception of the film received at the box office, Lionsgate Entertainment had greenlit a direct sequel titled The Punisher 2 to be made based on the film's strong DVD sales performance. Avi Arad, chairman and CEO of Marvel Studios, stated that the second film would become the fifth Marvel property to become a sequel. Jonathan Hensley said that he was interested in working with Thomas Jane again for The Punisher 2. Jane said that the villain for The Punisher 2 would be Jigsaw. Okay. That's a little weird. The project, however, lingered in development for over 3 years. Jonathan Hensley completed a first draft of the script before pulling out. Around 2006, John Dahl was in talks to direct the film, but pulled out due to script quality issues, and the studio not wanting to spend a lot of money on the project. In a statement on May 15, 2007, and in 2 audio interviews, Thomas Jane said that he had pulled off the project due to creative differences and the budget of the film being cut. In addition to director Walter Hill being turned down as director by Lionsgate, after reading the new script by Todd Sutter, Jane stated, What I won't do is spend months of my life sweating over a movie that I just don't believe in. I've always loved the Marvel guys, and I wish them well. Meanwhile, I'll continue to search for a film that one day might stand with all those films and the fans have asked me to watch. In the summer of 2007, Marvel Studios announced that Lexi Alexander would direct the film as a result of Dahl pulling out, and that actor Ray Stevenson would play the Punisher in the new film, thus replacing Thomas Jane. The Punisher 2 then became Punisher Warzone, reboot of the Punisher film series with no connection to the 2004 film. The reboot was released on December 5th, 2008. This is the second time the film series has been rebooted after the 2004 production rebooted 1989's The Punisher. When I first saw the trailer for Punisher Warzone, first of all, I'm the type of person that once I see somebody in a role like, say, Spider-Man or Peter Parker live action, I want that person to play the role no matter what. Same thing with Thomas Jane as the Punisher. I understand he didn't do it because of creative differences, that's fine, but I'm the type of person that I don't like change that well when it comes to films and stuff like that. I don't like change that well in general, but anyway. And I just couldn't see Ray Stevenson as Frank Castle. I was so still hooked on Thomas Jane playing him in the way that he played him. I have not seen the Punisher Warzone. I will not see the Punisher Warzone. It just didn't appeal to me from trailers. If a trailer does not catch my eye, then I probably won't see it, and probably will very reluctantly maybe do a $1 Redbox rental. And I haven't even done that. I haven't even looked for this film for the second reboot film.
Yeah, I don't think I'll rent it anytime soon, based on the fact that it didn't look appealing to me to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think the 2004 film it's very underrated. I thought it was very well done for what it is, and I think that's probably the best one that we're going to get, unless, of course, somehow there's a script for yet another reboot or a sequel or whatever, and Thomas Jane and Jonathan Hensley come back. But overall, I don't know. So I think we are going to take a break, and we will come back with the closing. We'll be right back. Thank you for joining us here on Movie Week in Review, the M-Wire. There are several ways to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. The first is you can visit www.geekcastradio.com and find all the other GCRN podcasts there. You can also find Transformers Toycast Episode 15, which currently has the second Geekcast Radio contest. Listen to that episode, email in, and you could win a copy of the Allspark Almanac. The second is that you can stop by www.PredicationEmpire.com/CafeSpark and get all your GCRN/Transformers discussion topics there. The third is you can leave the show positive feedback on iTunes. Please do this. We need reviews. The fourth is you can visit the earth-2.net forums and find threads for the shows under the self-promotion section. And the fifth is the email address, which is gcrnmwire@gmail.com. We now have a voicemail line. Call us and leave your thoughts on each episode. Be sure to say which show you're leaving the message for. The number is 502-526-5821. You can follow us on Twitter. The show name there is GCRNMWire. Mine is TFU Mike. And what is your Twitter?
SCP-21.
Great. And we hope you enjoyed this episode of the M-Wire and wish that you'll join us next time with Mike the Birdman Dunn when we will be discussing or reviewing the Marvel Spotlight, the Spider-Man franchise. For now, I am TFU and Mike with
Steve Megatron Phillips.
Saying the immortal words of Cadet Eugene Tackleberry, drop that stereo before I blow your goddamn nuts off, asshole, and thank you for listening. Until next time.
I leave this as a declaration of intent, so no one will be confused. 1. Sic vis pacem parabellum. Latin. The boot camp sergeant made us recite it like a prayer. Sic vis pacem parabellum. If you want peace, prepare for war. Number 2. Frank Castle is dead. He died with his family. Number 3. In certain extreme situations, The law is inadequate. In order to shame its inadequacy, it is necessary to act outside the law. To pursue natural justice. This is not vengeance. Revenge is not a valid motive, it's an emotional response. No, not vengeance. Punishment. Those who do evil to others, the killers, the rapists, psychos, sadists, you will come to know me well. Frank Castle is dead. Call me